Okay, hi everybody. So today we will discuss the energy management solution which Iskra can offer. It's going to be a 15-minute presentation. So in case you have some questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Um, Also, please, I'm doing a pulse check again just to see if you guys can really hear me and if you can see the slides. If you cannot see the slides or if there are any technical difficulties still, please let me know and write it down if you can. I would be very grateful to you for that. Okay. So, hi everybody. My name is Tim and I'm a product manager for the energy management solution here at Iskra. So it is in the last year that we have actually developed a solution, started offering the solution for energy management on the market. So let's see what this whole thing is all about. So, talking about energy management now, everybody talks about energy management nowadays. What is it all about? So 90% of all the expenditures of a typical office building are actually energy related. So energy, it means electricity, gas, water, it is a simple fact that only by continuously monitoring a building's energy management system, or by installing an energy management system itself, you can save up from 10 to 20%. Just one second, please. I have one thing here to do. Okay. Yeah. Um, so, uh, Facility managers. Obviously, every building has a facility manager, or should have one. We'll have one in the near future, that's for sure. Buildings definitely consume about 30% more than they should. Now, this is a fact. Monthly energy bills, in any case, they give no good information on as to what's really going on. The only fact that stays that's there for is that energy costs are increasing. There is no doubt about that. So by just continuously monitoring and by installing some kind of energy management system, you can save from 10 to 20%. Speaking in financial terms, so if you have a building which has about 5,000 square meters, you can save about mm, you can save about 10,000 euro per year. So I'm getting questions here if there's going to be a film after we have finished with this presentation. Yes, we will have a film and we will upload it to the web for everyone to see, even people who have not attended this session. So let's go on. There are just some basic facts here. Drivers for introducing an energy management system. So about 2/3 of everybody says that cost savings is the foremost driver, which is of course quite obvious. Now there are other things as well, and any energy management solution that you will introduce in your company, or if you guys are providers of such solutions, which your customers will introduce, will give you all this information. So we'll basically give you some energy targets, some KPIs which you can track, some basic data which you can rely on, because in most cases that we've encountered, there is basically no information as to what is going on in the energy respect. All that comes in are monthly energy bills, and that's about it. Of course, this is not enough to make some KPIs to actually make some targets. For that, you need to install a system which will measure and which will also do some further analysis. Now, here you see things are getting more and more interesting now. I hope that you guys are following me. So, what Iskra has to offer, it has basically two software solutions. First, there is the MIEM, so the Energy Management Solution, which you see on the left-hand side of this slide, which is a cloud-based solution. So this is a cloud-based solution which basically operates from the cloud and has equipment installed at the premises. So that can be either a shopping center, an office or residential building, or even a utility company, gas or water or electricity utility company. I must be honest that mostly we are now doing projects in the industrial area. So our customers predominantly come from the industrial area, as well as from electrical utility sector. Now, what you can achieve with an energy management software, such as the MIM, you can basically get a bill tracking system. So you can insert your bills inside. You can monitor how the bills are going, how your curve of expenditure as well as financial spending is going month by month. You can define some alarms. So, for example, you can define a threshold alert. You can say, for example, if the energy has exceeded a certain value during the month, during a day, or during a certain period of time, you can get an alarm which will then trigger an email or even an SMS, which you can immediately get and respond to this event. Now, we have, of course, there are energy tracking or KPI, key performance indicators, which you can easily define within the system. You can also do some basic energy analysis. You can compare that data, let's say energy-related data, to some other factors, such as, for example, surface of a typical building that you are monitoring, or maybe the number of occupants, the number of employees, and you can make such KPIs, which will then easily give you an estimate as to how efficient your energy management system really is. Or, for example, in a factory, you will have energy consumed per product produced. This is an obvious indicator that will actually tell you what's going on. Now, on the right-hand side, you will see there's another system called MeSmart. Traditionally, now this is a system that we have been developing in Iskra for many years, and it's actually an event, or let's say a data monitoring software which monitors or gathers all the data that is basically produced by the instruments that Iskra has. Iskra has been a manufacturer of electrical metering equipment, energy meters as well as power quality meters, and all these meters are also supported with this software. Now, the right-hand software is mostly used with electrical utility companies. It can also be used for energy management purposes, but sometimes or many times we just use it for power quality analysis. It's a special field which tells you basically how good your power quality really is. Now, if we go on, you will see what I am talking about. Now, down there on this slide, which is currently shown, you will see the hardware and communications part. Now, there's just a few images there which show you what Iskra has in terms of electrical measuring instruments. There are several types. We have several hundreds of different types of meters, of analyzers, of data loggers from existing meters, and so on. And they all easily integrate into our software. I must say it's not just our meters that can integrate. Actually, any kind of meter. You can have Modbus meters, you can have Ambus meters. They can integrate into the software, which then does all the analysis. Now, I think it was Lord Kelvin who said that you cannot manage what you don't measure. Now, of course, this is obvious in the case of energy management. I was saying before, if you're just relying on your bills, on your monthly energy bills, this will not really tell you much. Once you start measuring, you have an eye opener and you can actually see what's going on. So let's go on. I think this slide now is a bit more technical for all of you guys who know about technology, but I won't stay with it for too long. Yeah. Okay. This is basic topology. Now, what you have here. The orange part of this slide are serial network attached meters or equipment. Usually this is done within a certain closed facility. Now, whereas down on this slide, you will see the blue encircled devices, which is all on Ethernet. Now, of course, nowadays Ethernet is preferred, and everybody's talking Internet of Things. Everybody's talking Internet and Wi-Fi and so on. This is a preferred way of doing things, doing it through the Internet or through Ethernet interface. But sometimes this is just not possible, especially in industrial environments. You will have serial networks and you'll have to connect those. Now, the solution we can offer and the know-how we have can actually cover all that. So it can cover either serially attached meters or meters that are attached through the Ethernet or through the local area network. Or on the other hand, which is not shown on this slide, we can also cover meters that are, or not just meters, but analyzers that are installed anywhere in the world, basically, you know. And our platform can be considered an IoT platform as such. So if we go on now, there are just some basic features I would like to discuss with you guys on what the energy management software can do. This has already been mentioned briefly, but just to summarize it and to put you to make it very concise. So the software is a web-based software which can enable a certain dashboard, which is a personalized dashboard for every one user that wants to see what's going on. And in this personalized dashboard, you will define certain widgets for, let's say, gas consumption in a typical day of the week, or maybe it's a weekly gas consumption, or maybe it's electrical energy consumption for 1 month. Okay, you can do this with this dashboard, as I said, personalized dashboard. On the other hand, you have real-time analysis and monitoring, which can show you charts. So it can usually show you energy consumption plots. You will be observing profiles. Energy profiles. In this case, we're saying a 5-day, or I think it's more like a 6-day energy profile for 4 different locations, denoted with different colors of this chart that you see. Well, on the right-hand side, then you see a certain benchmarking tool that enables you to graphically or see from a table what decisions to take. So you will get data like consumption in this facility, or maybe it's an office in this facility has increased by 20% compared to the previous week, and the energy manager seeing that information will have to react to this information. Of course, it's all up to the energy manager. This is the point. The software itself will not basically do any changes for you. The software is just an eye opener. So it can, with the proper organization, with the proper energy manager, you can then implement some actions according to the data that you see inside the MIEM software. So then I was already mentioning some real-time saving verification. On the left-hand side, there is a typical alarm scheme. So if you should see some exceeding of energy in a typical time frame, maybe it is a 1 hour or 2 hour time frame, that's the red bars that you see over there in the left hand plot. You will be issued an email or an SMS. Then a very useful feature is the reporting feature. Now this can be easily configured, and what's most important, it can be done in a very user-friendly manner, so that the reports really look nice and look very graphically correct, and they can be adapted for a certain company use, and it's actually very easy and very user-friendly. What this platform also enables, it enables development or inclusion of new features in a seamless way. So you can maybe add an application that will monitor your photovoltaic plant, for example, where it will give you the balance of import-export for your PV plant, for example. And we have an app for that, and you can just easily include it because the platform is connected to an app store, like a marketplace, where you can just either purchase or just download a certain application, which will extend the scope of functionalities that the current application has. So let's go on. Now let's go over to the service. We have been focusing into the software for now, more or less. But of course, the software is just the tip of an iceberg. Now, normally the way you do things, you must first, when you encounter or when you approach the customer who has an energy management requirement, you must first see what the customer really wants. For that purpose, we do an energy resource consumption analysis. Based on this analysis, that basically tells the customer what their problems are. You do a metering project implementation. In this project implementation, we define what kind of equipment is necessary, and we install that equipment on site. And only after that, of course, this also includes the software we've been discussing before. And only after that, you can do a continuous energy management. Now, this is the key point, actually. So for this to work, you need a guy, you need a person who will have this as his main occupation, and you can and this person will continuously monitor, and he will also, or she will also, do some actions based on the data he is getting from the software. Of course, we can also do ISO 50001 compliance. I must be frank, we've not done that with any of our customers yet, but if necessary, we can do it. It's just a formalization of the process that is taking place through the energy management process. So let's have just a look at what our customers are, who are our trusted, valued customers. As I mentioned before, the industry is our most common place where we do projects, as well as electrical utility companies, right? in the electrical utility companies, I must say, we are not just addressing the energy management problem, but also the power quality management issue, which is perhaps more important for the utility companies, because utility companies are not so much into savings, but are more into quality of service. Um, we Office and residential buildings can also use our equipment as well as commercial buildings. So let's go on. Hopefully, I'm not being too boring. So I'm not really getting much feedback from you people. Hopefully, I'm not being too boring. So it's okay, now let's see what a typical project looks like. So there's a case study here for a foundry, which is based in Slovenia, in Store. This is an area where there are many steel plants. So this is a foundry where they produce yeah, railway, not vehicles, but railway. I think it's more like braking discs for trains. This is their main product, but they have many others too. Now they were facing a problem. We did this project about 3 years ago, and they were facing a problem. Okay, this is the actually the problem they were facing. Now this is just an example for. It's not um, it is a typical example. We did quite a few such projects, and they all have very much the same issues. People there are facing very much the same issues. Issues like the lack of power quality. Okay, they have no information about the energy consumption, and here we're talking about different machines or different consumers within the company. Now. This company doesn't only have one location; it has four locations which are geographically spread. Um, we actually equipped one of them, but we are also in discussions for equipping further locations of this company, and then gathering all this data in a centralized software. So. They want to, of course, be able to determine the consumed energy for every consumer, like every machine or every crane or something like this. With the equipment that we've installed, they get that option. Um, and what's also very interesting, I won't go into all the details that you have here in the slides, but what was the key point for them was they had a lot of or maybe twice a year they had an audit from some external people that come into the company, and they want to know what the consumption level um, is. Of course, this was a big problem to show before the system was introduced, because they were kind of blind. They didn't know how much a certain machine consumed. And with this system, it's just a matter of a few clicks and exporting an Excel that will give them this information. Um, you can do it even automatically, of course, by just sending some emails that will have such attachments. So we're talking about reporting here. Now, what we have installed in this factory, it's one big factory under one roof, basically. We installed 44 low-end instruments. They are of type MC330. Now, these are Iskra uh, grid. Um, yeah, I think they're called grid monitoring devices. Okay, there are digital instruments which have serial communication. So we were using 20 pieces of MC330 and 24 pieces of MC350. We also use the serial to Ethernet converter, so that every serial information that we acquired through the Modbus RTU interface through the RS-485 network was then exposed on the local area network of the company, and through this it was then inserted into the into the centralized database. We also had a few Ethernet enabled devices, and what was also very useful, we used also um, devices which can communicate wirelessly. This you will see, I think, in the next slide. Yeah, that's right. Now, here you can see actually the equipment we've used. So on the left-hand side, you see the network recorders as well as measuring centers of type MC750 and MC350. They were installed throughout the factory in the transformer station as well as at, at the feeders directly, as well as inside the factory for particular consumers. Whereas on the right-hand side, you will see this LPR, so it's low power radio equipment. They come in pairs. Basically, we have low power radio counters, which are basically data loggers that accumulate the pulses coming out from the meters themselves. Sometimes there were existing meters. Sometimes we have installed our own, and there were concentrators for accumulating these pulses. And furthermore, this data was then all being sent to a centralized server, as you can see on the right hand side. So if we continue, let's just see what the main benefits of the customer in this case were. So they achieved the remote and centralized electrical parameter data monitoring system with what they have or what we have implemented for them. They now have real-time information for all the equipment that is installed. They know if the equipment works well, or they also know if there are some anomaly events like some increased consumptions or some stuff that should not be going on. There are also some alarm events they are monitoring, such as temperature exceeding, or also in some locations they are even monitoring some digital signals such as door opening and stuff like that. So the system as such can also be used, let's say, for intrusion protection, but it's not really meant to be an intrusion protection system by itself. So this can of course help them make strategic decisions. For example, if they invest into new equipment, they will want to know what kind of equipment to buy, or maybe they will want to know if their transformer station will handle this equipment with the new power. Maybe they want to install a 20 kV 20 kilowatt machine, and maybe the transformer, the feeder will not handle it. With this, they have all the information needed to know if some further infrastructure investment is needed. Okay, now as I said, Excel exporting becomes very trivial here. It's not a problem to get all the data. And of course, not to mention supervision of energy or energy management as such. Now, okay, I think I pretty much came to an end with this presentation. If you do an energy management project with Iskra, you can, I must say this, save your money, save your time, or be flexible. I think it's quite obvious from what I told you in the previous slides. And this summarizes this ends my presentation. Hopefully I wasn't too dull. Hopefully the presentation was interesting for you. Now, if you might have some questions, you can also send them to me through a team chat, through a question and answer list. So please, if you have some questions, you can either address them to me right now, or you can also send emails with any further inquiries you might have. And yeah, this summarizes practically what I had to say. My lecture here, my webinar. Yeah, of course, it's I haven't done many webinars so far, and I apologize again for the 10 o'clock mishap that we had, but hopefully this was interesting for you.